In southwestern France, 140,000 people had to stop whatever they were doing, including sleeping. Many were woken in the middle of the night and flee for their lives. 40,000 of those were in the Gironde region, the worst affected west of Bordeaux, centred around the upmarket Atlantic resort of Cap Ferret. People staying on the peninsula itself were in danger of being hemmed in by the flames, and the only way to be sure of escaping was by boat. Well, Sam is just across the bay where many of those evacuees have been taken. Sam.
Well, look, those numbers just keep rising. 140,000 people evacuated across southwestern France. This is just one of the evacuation centres in the Bay of Arcachon. There are people here coming continuously through the night. This is providing shelter for them, for people who've had to flee their homes, and for the many people who come and visit here on holiday. There is a separate fire heading towards the major city of Bordeaux. Some of the outskirts have now been evacuated. As you said, President Macron has mobilised the army, and the Interior Minister has said that these fires are unprecedented. They're officially calling it an XXL wildfire, but that doesn't convey the terror. For 4 days, it has burned in the Bordeaux region, destroying 38 square miles of this land, popular with tourists, for others, home. Authorities have now ordered the complete evacuation of the Cap Ferret Peninsula. Families loaded into the boots of pickups as they fled. Others packed onto boats, sent to rescue them from the ever-intensifying flames. The evacuation orders keep coming, a solid stream of cars travelling in one direction, and that is because more towns and villages this evening have been told to evacuate. People told to leave because the flames are encroaching, and there's no sign of it slowing down. These teenagers from up north were camping. They had minutes to leave.
It was very strange. It was stressful at first, but the people here are quite chill, and they have the ability to make us feel comfortable here.
We are here on holidays with our family, and there was a big fire, and all the smokes were coming into our city.
Evacuees have been taken to nearby Arcachon, where makeshift camps have been set up. Remarkably, there have been no reported deaths.
It felt a bit end of the worldy, sort of the light wasn't quite right, and like chunks of ash falling from the sky. I don't think you can comprehend the scale of it, but as it was drawing closer to us and the speed at which it was burning, they have been amazing, but they are underprepared, it feels like, to deal with the vast wildfires that are happening.
Hundreds of firefighters have been battling the flames to the point of exhaustion.
It makes us sad. We feel helpless. We're doing everything we can, but it's very sad. The flames are hot, the smoke is hot, the ambient air is hot. It's fierce, it's moving fast, and there's wind. Nothing about this is easy. It'll be another very long night ahead.
President Macron says the situation remains extremely tense, especially in the Gironde region. Support coming in from other EU countries. 3 successive heat waves on the continent have hit France hard. A scorching summer with some of the worst fires the country has ever seen.
Sam, we can see people behind you bedding down for the night. What is then the latest on the fires tonight? What prospects of them being brought under control? And what about those people who've been forced to flee?
Well, they don't actually have enough beds for everyone coming tonight. As you saw in the report, people keep coming, and that is because the fires are continuing. The evacuation orders are continuing, and those who've already been evacuated can't return home. This has been a truly awful summer for France. The last time there were this many fires in France in the space of a year was for a completely different reason. That was because of the Second World War. Look, global warming has created conditions that wildfires thrive on. We have seen increased temperatures. We've seen drier forests and fields in areas surrounding these cities and tourist destinations. It doesn't seem to be getting any better. This summer alone, and we're only halfway through, there have been 12,500 200,000 fires. That is 4 times the average yearly amount that France normally sees.
OK, Sam, thank you very much indeed for all of that. Thank you. Well, it isn't just France, of course. Spain and Italy are having a terrible time of it too. Large areas surrounding Madrid are on fire. Spain has declared a national emergency, the first ever linked to wildfires. 2 large ones have already converged, and there are fears a third could also merge with it.
This is one edge of what the authorities in Madrid are calling the worst fire in the region's history. There were 2 separate wildfires raging across the countryside west of the Spanish capital. But they have come together now, and in the towns and villages in the fire's path, the atmosphere is framed by smoke and fear. The danger is imminent, says the mayor of Chapinaria. The fire is coming. Her town was serving as a refuge for people who'd fled the flames once already. Now they have to move again. Everywhere and everything was fire and smoke, says this evacuee. People have told me that where I live was completely destroyed. Tens of thousands of people have been ordered to leave their homes, and more than 2,000 firefighters have struggled in vain to stop the fires from converging.
This has been a year of weather extremes in Spain. Back in January, there were persistent storms, making it one of the wettest winters in decades. But then, in the early summer, came those very rare red heat alerts. There were drought warnings, and the wildfires started to catch. Nearly 300,000 acres of land have been burned so far this year. That compares with 62,000 by this time last year. The extremes have made the fires worse. All that rain led to a surge of vegetation growth in the spring, which was then baked dry in successive heat waves, providing ample fuel for the flames.
Flames which have been fanned by the dry desert winds coming up from Africa. The Spanish government has declared a state of emergency to respond to a fire which, in the sobering words of the local government here, now threatens to advance beyond current extinguishing capacity. The climate has set the perfect conditions for fires to take and spread on a scale which has made them so difficult to fight. Geraint Vincent, News at 10.
Well, back here, there are evacuations underway tonight in the Cairngorms after a strengthening of the winds fanning the wildfire there. It has been burning already for 10 days, but Police Scotland are worried it might now spread towards the Highland village of Nethy Bridge, so people are being evacuated as a precaution. They're being directed to a dedicated respite centre. Efforts to control the fire continue. 500 firefighters have been involved so far.